Hi everyone. Today I have Amit with me, and we'll talk about communities. Amit, want to know your thoughts on community-powered, reputation-driven businesses and networks, and their future, and how are they going to progress?
Yeah, I think the network and the community are quite synonymous, in many ways. And the network being more technical in nature and sort of the abstraction behind it, really the universe is a community of people that ultimately come in different actors and participants of the community. The same person may act like a dad or a brother or an employee, or a librarian if that's their job. So totally dependent on the context, people act in different ways. And within the Awake universe, or in frankly any internet network or any digital network, people are the ones that are the users, and these people are everywhere. They're the same people you see in the real world, and therefore on the internet as well you see people who have multiple personas. They all both are buyers as well as sellers of something, as long as they're in it in the market, they're in it for something, they're in it for some value. They're looking to improve themselves or to gain something, whatever it is, which is the buyer. And for every buyer there is a seller, as we have discussed in the past, right? There has to be a value recognition, there has to be a value exchange at a price that it works for everybody, and so on. So all of that being the base activity exchanging in any community or network, these are what we talk about. We talk about the network is the node, the node is the network, right? There's no difference between a node and a network. Just like in the body, all cells have the DNA of the body, right? It's the complete information of the whole system is available in every cell. In the same way, all nodes in a network contain the completeness of the network. In other words, you can bootstrap a network with a single node, the first user, right? That first user is the network, because that's the network of one, right? It's a network of zero, then a network of one, and then a network of networks. Either there's a network that has nothing in it, or it has people in it, or the network has people or networks, right? So it's really a very simple relationship. And when you realize that, then the accounting for this activity is only a question of accounting the nodes activities. That's what we mean by powering the whole thing with the community. What does it mean? People powered. People are doing the activity. People are tracking their own activity. People are getting paid for their own activity. Right? And this is a job of the network or the platform to facilitate more and more of this value co-creation with people, whether it's through buying or selling or co-selling or facilitating or whatever it is. All activities lead up to a profit generating event, which then pays off multiple people that were involved in that particular thing. And then, of course, platform also keeps a transaction fee or whatever it is. So this is what it is.
Going forward with communities, how they're progressing right now, we can see that there is one type of network or community which is like very niche driven. You have a specific purpose, you have a specific area of expertise or area of things that you want to transact about. Either it could be goods or it could be information or any type of thing. And then you see community which are bigger, but which are bigger in number of people interacting. So they start accumulating multiple niches. They start accumulating multiple types of things. And I personally think that may be the way going forward, that you interconnect multiple niches, multiple types of things. But right now with the current scenario, you see a lot of fragmentation. People interact as different identities on different types of things, and sometimes maybe just during the transaction and during the transition, it could become a little bit of inconvenience. And what do you think about this, that how much time it may take to get on a system where the transition between different networks or different communities is much more easier, and we interact as like the easiness and the convenience of things become the priority.
Yeah, so I think this is what is called as the integrated network economy, right? What McKinsey is calling the integrated network economy, and projecting to be, $80 trillion in size by the end of 2030, which is a very, very large number.
Yeah,
and what does
it's
it
not
mean?
a lot of time as well. I mean, like it's
And
near.
it's very quick. Yeah. So what does it mean, right? What does it actually mean for it to be integrated? That just means what you're saying, which is there should be no transition.
Yeah.
The context defines what you are doing there and what you are, and the profiles and everything else, right? So today when you go from one website to another, these are fragmented and isolated networks, right? But when we view the world as a network of networks, right, which is the internet. What is the internet, right? Internetwork. So when you actually leverage the underlying ground on which all other networks are built, then you're no longer talking about integration. You're already integrated, because it's already on the network of networks. So if every network is one of the network of networks, which it should be on the internet, then where is the question of transition and so on? It's only a question of properly accounting for all the activities that you do into various buckets of varying privacy and so on, depending on the network. Right.
But
so
I think, the prediction that it might happen by 2030 is really exciting. And it will be really great if it happens by then, but not too sure about the timeline. Might take a little bit more time.
If you think about, driverless cars and their projections that we'll all be sitting in driverless cars this decade, I think that we'll be an integrated network economy faster than driverless cars. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
it's much more complicated to navigate complex streets and roads and that than it is to operate an opt-in network of networks. It's an opt-in network of networks, because you see the transition is not going to happen network by network. You see, the transition is going to happen en masse by people. People are going to directly connect to the fully integrated network. That's the end. It's the end. There is no like, I need to now integrate this and I need to integrate that. It's over. The functions of all things, if it becomes available in the network of networks, then all service providers just have to plug in, just like users do. Right? We completely invert this. So we don't have to go around trying to create an integrated network economy when you realize that everything is already integrated. You just have to correctly view the world and build a system that matches the actual structure of nature, not the other way around. This is unnatural, what people are building, because you're forcing them to do all these things, and it's like a capture and it's target and it's that all these things, Whereas what we're talking about is natural, cooperative nature of the cells in any body. Leg doesn't say it's angry with the hand for doing something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one network, one thing. It doesn't matter what happens. When pandemic happens, there is no blame happening, and then you should do it like this and put a mask, don't put a mask. These are all, there is a one humongous network that's in motion. And if you capture the actuality of it, then all data points and all emergent activity and intelligence can be reified at a very basic level. Right. So it's going to happen much faster than 2030, because there's nothing nothing has to happen. We have to realize that, hey, shit, this is already done. Right?
And there is just one movement required. If people are moved, that's it. It's done.
You just have to become awake. You have to realize that, shoot, I can already be part of this global integrated economy without doing a lot of work for existing networks. Then existing networks are the past. The future is the network of networks, which is the internet, which was always the future. It became hijacked by all these guys, and people forgot that, oh, wait a minute, I can just go back to basics. I can go back to the fundamental first principles of the internet and realize that I don't need to solve these complicated, environments. I don't need to build new stuff. I just have to stop building, actually, and just go back to the basic thing. So that's what this is. This is a reversion to the mean, right? Like the community is a fundamental building block of society. And so we're just reverting to the mean. The basic building block is civilization is more than one person. And it starts with one person who says, you know what, this place looks like a good place for a city.
That's it.
Or a town or whatever. And one person has to put down their tent and open up a shop, and other people come there and start something, doing things. Right? It's not about who will do it. Well, somebody will do it, and when will it happen, and all those things. How does it happen? When the person starts doing it. It's that simple. So the future is entrepreneurial. Its future is driven by what people have called the gig economy. But the future of the gig economy is entrepreneurship. It isn't gigs. From thinking in terms of jobs, Awake thinks in terms of job creation. How do you become a job creator? Why do you need to take a job? Why not be a job creator? What does it take to be a job creator? For every job taker, there has to be a job giver. No, it's a duality. There cannot be a job taker without a job creator. So why not be the job creator?
Yeah. This is like one of the value that we talk about. For something, for a seller, there has to be a buyer, or for every buyer, there has to be a seller. It's the similar way for jobs.
So the whole thing is about giving, right? If you look at what we do, we don't take money until you make money. In other words, we give you money. Rather than us trying to make money, which is the normal view, for every giver, there is a taker. So why not be the taker? I mean, everybody is being the taker. Why not be the giver? In every transaction, there are two sides. Why always look at only the taking side? Everybody's what can I get? What if I become the giver in every single transaction on the internet? What happens when I give out money to others for every single transaction on the planet?
That's huge.
I mean, it doesn't have to be on the planet, right? But just saying that in any network, if I go and just say, hey guys, listen, here's money for everyone when sales happen. I will take the ownership of driving the sale. How's that? You guys just have to fulfill your orders when it comes through. No longer am I selling.
That's an ideal, I mean, like a perfect situation.
That's what the internet had promised. But instead we got all these networks, right? That are not optimizing for the internet, not optimizing for the whole community of human beings, but optimizing only a part of it for themselves. Right? So when we see the whole thing as a single network, there is no confusion in the whole thing. There is only one universe. Everybody is a part of it. That's it.
Just like back to basics, straightforward. You
very simple.
Interact. You interact, you transact. That's it.
It's as simple as that. Life is so simple. You don't have to think about too many things.
Cool. So this has been really great. Thanks, Amit, so much for joining us for the small talk.